Hello, everybody. This is Zach's at it again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I'm honored to be here with an old high school friend and fellow author. He has just published his first series of techno-thriller novels, Mr. Ben Wilson, or as you will know him as an author, Benjamin Ian Wilson. So, thank you, Ben, for being on the program today. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you, Zach. It's a pleasure to be on here as well. So looking forward to having a chat with you.
Well, as we were just saying, this is the first time that we have talked to each other in probably over 20 years. So it's very nice to hear your voice on the other end of my telephone today. As I say in my review of your books, which I read, very enjoyable, by the way, and not typically something I would enjoy at all, but the way you write it um, makes it very relatable to people who are not as smart as you, which is, I gather, most of the population. Um,
Oh, I would not say that at all. I would say I've been able to learn from some of the smartest people in the world, at least like in the telecommunication space and the
yeah,
technology space.
yeah.
But definitely not one of the smartest.
Oh,
Just probably one of the ones that listens the most to what everyone else has to say. Um, I think that's probably been one of my greatest abilities is to really kind of soak in the knowledge of others. So that's kind of where I get my perspective from.
well, and I think that is why you would be considered some of the smartest people in the world. There's the old adage here when you grow up in Wythe County that God gives you two ears and one mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you talk. And we could all benefit from those words. And you seem to be one of the rare people who actually have done that, and that has proven successful in your life. Now, as I said, you and I go back to high school together. Um,
We do.
I
It seems
graduate.
like forever ago,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it is.
yeah.
It has been forever ago, but
Nice.
I graduated in 2003, and I think you were maybe a year ahead of me. Is that right?
I was. That's correct. Yeah, I was
Okay.
class of 2002.
All right. So I pegged that right, and I just
You did.
and I just remember you as this really tall, friendly guy, nice looking, always, um, turning the heads of the ladies, and you know, just very nice guy, very quiet. Your dad was a teacher at George Wythe, also. Greg, he was a science teacher, and I was always very fond of you. Never dreamed that following your profile some 20 years later, that we would both become writers. At what point did you know you were going to be a writer?
That is a very kind of loaded question for me. I feel like I've always have had these stories in my head ever since. In all honesty, like in my book, it was kind of 9/11 really kind of shook my mindset a lot, and so it's not surprising that I went into kind of the work that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Started like schooling, going to Virginia Tech, getting my first jobs, my first tech jobs, working for some of the bigger software companies in the world, um, and over that time, and getting exposed to all of these different types of technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's machine learning, all the way back from all of the kind of anti-fraud space that I've worked in for the past 10, 15 years. It seems like there's always these underlying stories that go in my mind, like what could happen if a fraudster had access to all of this data? What trouble could they cause?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I got a lot of the ideas for at least these first sets of books that I've written. It's kind of putting those stories together and kind of taking them down a rabbit hole, like taking like a simple concept that I've seen like in my years of experience on the kind of legitimate telco side of things. What could happen if some of those things went wrong? And is there a story that needs to be told behind that? And I'm always the kind of person that's saying, yeah, the more information, the better. So if these books get people thinking about some of those things the way that I've thought about them for the last 15 years, that's great. It's going to spread awareness and at least start some really good conversations.
And in the 25 years since that horrible tragedy in the history of our nation and world, which, that is the, defining tragedy of our lifetime, as far as a national level, I very clearly remember being in Ricky Skeens' room, and I was using his empty room as a study hall, and my aide was playing solitaire on the computer. That tells you that that was 25 years ago. And Ricky Skeens, who was the marketing teacher, he went on to become the principal of George Wythe High School, and later a member of the Wythe County School Board, where he is now. But he came down with the athletic director at the time, who was Bobby Vandermeer, and said a plane has just hit the World Trade Center, flown into the World Trade Center. And the gravity of what he said did not hit me until he turned on the TV in just enough time to see the second plane hit and the tower collapse. Only then did I have a remote clue of what was happening at that time. And, I would assume we were both at George Wythe High School that day.
Yeah, we were. I was actually on my way back from governor school in Dublin, up in Pulaski, and I remember the bus ride back just being one of the quietest bus rides I've ever been on in my life. I mean, back from governor school up there back to basically the second half of the day at George Wythe, and just remembering everybody just kind of still in shock and awe, kind of. There weren't the normal kind of on the bus teasing or conversations and this, that, and the other. It was one of the most kind of somber bus rides I've ever remembered, and being on sports teams and having teams, and bus rides can be like one of the loudest places ever, and it just seemed like you could hear a pin drop on that bus ride back. So I don't think it was really until I kind of got back to school, so the rest of the students at George Wythe in the class, and it kind of really hit me from that point on. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you'll never forget.
I came home that day, and my mother had her photo album open of when she went to New York and visited the Trade Center. and
Mhm.
her pictures were there, and it was, and by that time the towers were gone, and it was just an unbelievable thing, an unbelievable thing. Still is to think about to this day. And in the 25 years since that's happened, you are writing a book about artificial intelligence, and here we are in the age of AI. Um,
Yeah.
and AI is to me like the internet. It's a wonderful thing if you know how to use it, and if you use it in moderation. But there's also the thing of overuse, and I'm a big Twilight Zone fan, and being in the Twilight Zone and the overuse and how it takes over your life and controls you and all this. Um,
Yeah.
as a writer, how frightened do I need to be that I'm gonna have a place to have a job in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh gosh, I don't think you're gonna have to be that worried at all, because
Okay.
there's still a uniqueness, there's still an individuality that any author kind of brings to their work. And I think there's a thoughtfulness there that's never going to go away. Um,
Very well said.
you know,
So the human touch is never going to be completely erased. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Okay.
Now, granted, AI tools and things like that, they are just that. They
Mm.
are tools to make things easier,
Mm.
to make it easier to brainstorm things,
Mm.
to structure things, and
And
to actually do some stuff like that. But
because
it's not
because
just a
of
tool.
because of its editing tools, I have been able to release. I think this is maybe the fourth one.
That's
In
amazing.
in the last year.
Congratulations, by the
Thank
way.
you. In the last year, as opposed to the first one I wrote took me 5 years to write, and I started it when I was 18. So that was that was in what my daughter would consider the wagon train days. Um,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I found the experience pretty similar.
mm,
You know, I guess a lot of the books and things that I've published so far, I've had the ideas for a really long time. I've been working on the books, the manuscripts, and everything for probably the last like 8 or 9 years.
mm,
Off and on. Kind of exactly like you said. It's a super long process. But with some of these tools, you're able to like put your ideas together a lot quicker, put some
mm,
structure to it a lot quicker. But then, like the actual intent, the story, the points you want to get across, that still remains your essence. So I
absolutely.
see it as a tool to do things quicker. Um,
Well,
and
that's
yeah,
very good. And let's talk about for a minute too. You have a beautiful family that I want to mention. Um,
thank you.
your wife, you're getting ready to celebrate 12 years.
That's correct. Yeah. Here in about a little under 2 weeks. It's January 6th. So yeah, I've got
Yeah.
a couple weeks. But yeah, my wife, Njeri, spelled Njeri. A lot lot of people joke Ben and Jerry, so Ben and Jerry's ice
Oh,
cream.
very
So
nice.
so no one ever forgets our names together. And then
Yeah,
we have our
I
two little
won't
M and
now.
M's. So
And you have your two children.
that's correct. Yeah, my 11-year-old son Malik and my 7-year-old daughter McKenna.
Very good, and they are a beautiful family. And how did you and Jerry meet?
Ooh, that is a good question. We met at a barn. a
Mm.
horse barn, not a bar where you would go and get alcohol, but we actually met at a horse barn where she was riding, taking lessons, and it was in Blacksburg. We were both in graduate school, and yeah, I kind of made a fool out of myself a couple times. And yeah, she finally actually said yes to going out with me for a drink to start with, and the rest is history. And that was back in 2008. So yeah, we've been together even longer than we've been married. So
Congratulations, and a beautiful family you have. And
thank you.
I just remember you as being this, like I said, tall, nice looking, very quiet guy, always with a smile, always with a kind word. But I had no idea that, I always thought a lot of you, but had no idea we would be writers. How do you recall me, since I'm giving my recollection of you?
Gotcha. It's actually very similar. It's like
Yeah.
my first impression of you, like the first time I met you, is that this guy is nice all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
always smiling. Always stopping to say hi. I was talking to my dad. My dad was like, Zach, I remember, a kid named Zach, and I was like, yeah. It was like, I'm sure you know him, and then I showed him a picture of you, a recent picture of you. He was like, oh, I know Zach. I remember Zach.
Yeah. It's
So
hard.
yeah, it was one of those things. I always just remember you as always nice, always approachable. And it was always made me smile and happy when I saw you.
Well,
So
very kind, and I feel the same way. But my family will tell you, not nice all the time, but that I appreciate you thinking so. I
my family would say the same as well
it's
for
it,
me.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it's like
hard
I may
to
smile an awful lot, but yeah, I'm not cheery all the time.
yeah it's
You
hard
can't
to,
be.
and
You
it's
can't
talk
be.
about your dad remembering me. It's hard to forget people that have wheels attached to them, but because not a lot of us came with mechanized units. But I remember Greg very well when you said you were a Virginia Tech graduate. That did not surprise me in the least because I know your dad was a Virginia Tech graduate. So
Yeah, he went to Virginia Tech, and he actually got his master's degree a little bit later in life from the University of Virginia. So it
oh
doesn't. Yeah, so it doesn't. We have the Virginia Tech UVA household rivalry every now and then. So my dad has kind of switched and started wearing a bunch of UVA clothing and things
yeah,
like that. So
he
I always
rides.
have to wear my VT clothes when I'm around him, just to remind him where he went to undergrad. So
He rides both sides of the fence. That's not cool.
exactly,
You gotta be on one team or the other. Um, but let's we I said about 20 minutes, and we've talked minimally about your book because I think that this just is us catching up on the last 20 years or so. But
And it just means we'll have to do this more often. But
it, yeah, that is exactly what it means. But Nathan Bishop is obviously you. Anybody
oh
who's
gosh,
anybody who's met you and spent about 15 minutes with you knows that that's what you're drawing from because that's your profession. That's what you know, and here I am thinking that I'm writing disability fiction, and I have a character in that's me in every one of my books, and I'm thinking people are going to get sick of this. But I read your books, and I kind of gave a sigh of relief, because it's like, okay, every writer writes themselves in some form or another, because that's who we are. That's what we know.
Yeah.
And Nathan Bishop is obviously you, and he struggles, as you would imagine one would, working in the artificial intelligence realm. Nathan Bishop is trying to save the world, but he also wants to keep a connection with the humans that are important to him as well. But that phrase, going down a rabbit hole, when you start something that never really finishes because the knowledge base keeps growing and growing and growing, it's just something that you constantly stay busy at. So that's what struck me about the character, is that he's trying desperately to protect these people that are important to him, but he's struggling to stay involved with the human world, because the things that he's trying to block and change keep changing on him, and he's trying to ride with the changes. Is that a fair assessment of what you're trying to get across? I hope so.
Yeah. No, it really is. And it's one of those things that, I've kind of battled with the entire time. It's like, I don't want, my family, my kids, to be scared of technology. But there's a certain point that I want to make sure that they are aware and they can protect themselves. So in a lot of the parallels that I draw between my writing and what I do in my professional work is, a lot of the work that I do is to protect consumers, protect end users, protect people from fraud, getting abused, from everything related to that within the telecom space. What I've done with my writing is kind of taken that to the extreme, of saying, like, what's the worst kind of things that could happen out of a lot of the stuff that I know. Exactly. And that's where I draw a lot of this. So it's an outlet for me. So it kind of lets me get my ideas and put my ideas into something without necessarily going and scaring the crap out of my family about some of the stuff that I know about.
Right.
So yeah, it's been kind of the outlet, and just for that perfect example, it's kind of like that continuous learning, that continuous change. Some of the stuff that I've learned about over the past couple years, working at Vonage, is like artificially inflated traffic, and it's stuff that could eventually fund and you don't know where all of this money is going to, essentially. So it's like an advanced form of money laundering, but at a network and telecommunications level. And I take that to the extreme in a new book that I'm working on right now. So it's kind of one of those things. It's a healthy outlet for me to be able to write, get my thoughts out, put it into a story in a way that's engaging and kind of others can benefit from thinking about. And
if nothing else, to teach criminals how to be criminals in more expedient ways with the nature of the new with the nature of new technology.
Exactly. You have fraudsters using AI to find better ways to attack companies and people, and then you have us that are sitting on the company's side, the enterprise's side, or the government side, trying to protect and use AI to protect ourselves from fraudsters that are using AI. So it's kind of like just a big game of cat and mouse, and who can stay ahead of the technology the best.
And you are determined to be that one that stays 2 steps ahead.
Trying to be.
So, the Sovereign War, is that a collection of Because that's a huge book as opposed to Obsidian
The other
Protocol,
shorter ones.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah. So the Sovereign War kind of. I do have them out in 3 separate ebooks.
mm-hmm.
There's actually 3 separate acts to it.
Right.
The first part of that, I'm sure you already got this, was kind of the recruitment part. How
Right.
Nathan was recruited post 9/11, how he was trained, who he worked with, and all of that.
Right.
The second part, Sovereign Protocol, is kind of like after he's presumed dead, and how he goes and orchestrates like this technical insurgency to stop Spectre and the Orion team. And then the third part is kind of like the line, kind of the terminal protocol, the ending of that. So, where we get to kind of disabling the last kind of pockets of automated control, so you can kind of start restabilizing things. Yeah, so it's definitely a lot longer. And then Obsidian Protocol is kind of the start of the second series that kind of brings Nathan out of his kind of refuge to kind of get back into the swing of things, operationally. And that's just the first part. There's actually 5 shorter books in that second series that are out now, and it goes through everything from Obsidian Protocol, which is like the rise of AI and some of the deep fake technology that drives Nathan out of hiding, onto like infrastructure warfare, telecommunications systems breakdowns. And then there's also Black Ledger, that's kind of about like market destabilization, like stock market destabilization, money market destabilization, all the way down through the kind of zero drift, where it kind of, without giving away too much, kind of brings it all back together.
And it's very scientific, as you and your father are very scientific people. And when I first looked at it, I thought, "Oh, this is going to be something I'm going to have difficulty reading, because I am such an emotional person." But your work is very emotionally driven. Like, the purposes behind what he is doing is very emotionally driven. He's very concerned with protecting his family on a small level, but then on the bigger level, he wants to save the world, like every hero in every story. And it's almost at some point as though, as we said, he is developing AI and he's competing against AI, so it's almost he's fighting himself to see who's gonna win. And it's very
you kind of hit it. Yeah.
it's very compelling. Yeah. So it's been my pleasure to talk with you today. Unfortunately, our time is already up, but I have enjoyed this conversation very much. And
me too, Zach. I appreciate the time, and as always, good to catch up with you.
Yes.
I'm really sad that we waited so long to reconnect and start talking again. But like I said, hopefully this is just one of many more conversations to be had.
I hope so. Well, bless you, my friend, and good luck with all your books. I can't wait to read them all.
You as well. I can't wait to finish yours. I'm trying my best to make time to get through them. I'm about halfway through your book, Home, and my next on my list is Millie's Big Dream.
Very good.
I'm looking forward to getting to both of those.
Well, I hope you will enjoy those, and I thank you very much for the plug. And we will.
I will. And home is definitely catching me and getting me going. So I'm ready to read the rest.
Well, good. I'm
So I
glad.
appreciate it, mate.
Glad to hear that. Very, very glad to hear that. Well, thank you very
Good.
much, and I
Okay.
appreciate you, and we will talk again soon.
You're welcome. Thanks, Zach. Have a good one.